Hi everybody, I'm here to demonstrate how to follow one of Lisa's patterns if you're left-handed. And the way you're going to do that is simply to follow the instructions in reverse order. And I'm going to do that by starting off the sample cross pattern. I'm going to do the first 5 rows. And we begin with your main color, which for me is red, and you chain 21 plus 6, and I've already done that. Then you're going to double crochet into your 7th chain from the hook. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's my 7th chain. I'm going to do a double crochet in that 7th chain from the hook. I'm going to chain 1 after that double crochet, and after every double crochet, then I'm going to skip the next chain, double crochet into the chain after that. And as with every double crochet, I chain 1, and I'm going to do that across the entire length of this chain. And I've already done that, and here it is. This is what it looks like. And once you've done that, you set that to the side. Then you're going to get your alternate color, which for me is white, and you're going to chain 19 plus 6, and you're going to need to mark your 7th chain from the hook, which I've done with with a piece of yarn of some contrasting color. Then you're going to take the tail of your alternate colored chain and insert it through the back of the far left of your main color work. The instructions say far right because that pattern is written for right-handed crocheters. So if you're left-handed, this portion of your work is going to be on the far left instead of the far right because you're left-handed. And then you're going to do a double crochet in that 7th chain from the hook. But you're going to do your alternate color double crochet is going to be between your main color double crochets. So I'm going to do this white double crochet between my red double crochets. So I'm going to do that double crochet and do that double crochet, and I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to skip the next chain and double crochet into the chain after that one. So I'm basically doing the same thing that I did with the main color yarn, which was my red, but I'm going in between the double crochets of my main color work. I'm doing a double crochet in every other chain, and I'm doing, I'm putting a chain in between each double crochet. Now, when I did this first double crochet, I formed my first inside stitch. That this 5 chain I have over here to the left, that's your inside stitch to the back. When you see that IS-B, that's that stitch right there. And then these double crochets, they are all double crochets to the back, because as you can see, they are to the back of your work as opposed to being towards the front. And then I'm just going to continue on doing my double crochets. All the way across. Always remember to do your to do a chain after every double crochet. Once you get a good rhythm going, it's just going to come naturally. You'll get so used to it. And you know, for this row 1, remember you're going in between the double crochets of your main color. Your main color work that you already completed and set to the side. Now you done picked it up and you're working in between those double crochets. Having a hard time with this one. One chain, and then we're going to do that all the way to the end, to this last chain. I don't know why, but these last 2 chains have been my difficult ones. And I do that double crochet. Now that's the end of row 1, and this is what it looks like. Then you're going to turn your work. Now when you following your pattern, I think it's best to print up the pattern, then you can just follow it row by row. But for this demonstration, I've written out well, that's already row 1, so I've written out rows 2 through 5, and we're going to be following this in reverse order. But first, you can see that when you look on the instruction, it says for row 2 MC, which means main color. So that means you're going to be working with your main color, which is red for this demonstration, and in parentheses BOW is back of work, so that means the back of your work is going to be facing you. You know, when we did row 1, this is row 1. You know, this is the front of the work, that row 1 we just completed, and then we turned our work, so now the back of our work is facing us, and it says AC to the front. AC is alternate color. So for this demonstration, that's white. So your white yarn, or that's you keep that towards the front as you're working with your main color. Don't let that slip. Don't let it slip to the back. Make sure you keep that to the front. And we're going to start row 2. We're working with our main color, and as I said, we're going to be following our instructions in reverse order. So row 2, over here at the end, it says SS, a side stitch. So a side stitch at the beginning of a row is just going to be 4 chains, or you can use, some people prefer 3 chains. I prefer 4, so I'm doing 4. And then your next stitch is a double crochet to the front. So I'm going to double crochet into my next red double crochet, but it's a double crochet to the front, so I'm going to crochet towards the front of my work. So that means I'm going to crochet in between my alternate color double crochet. So that means I'm going to crochet in between my alternate color double crochets, and it's going to be towards the front as opposed to the back. And as you can see, my alternate color is getting a little, you know, if you're not careful, it could end up going towards the back, but you want to make sure you keep that towards the front. And do a chain after that double crochet, and next we have a double crochet to the back. So another double crochet towards the back, and then next we have 6 double crochets to the front. So we're going to do these double crochets to the front. That's 1. Remember that chain after each one, after each double crochet. And that's 2. and chain. That's 3. And a chain. That's your 4th one. Chain 1. This is the 5th one. Chain 1. And this is the 6th. Double crochet to the front. And then after that you have a double crochet to the back. So you're going to double crochet into that next double crochet. But it's going to be towards the back of the work. You know, it's still in between your white or your alternate color double crochets, but it's just towards the back instead of towards the front. And then you're going to do another double crochet towards the front. Always, oops, yeah, forgot that chain. Forgot to do that chain after my double crochet. And make sure you do that chain after each double crochet. And then that double crochet and chain. And then we're going to end with a side stitch. And just go in that loop on the end. Some people prefer to stitch into the chain, but I prefer to just go right in the loop like that. And then the next row, or you can see that this is, you know, row 2 completed. And then your next row, row 3, which the pattern says AC and in parentheses BOW. So AC means you're going to be working with your alternate color. It says AC and in parentheses BOW. So AC means you're going to be working with your alternate color. And BOW means you still have that back of your work facing you. You've done that main color. You've worked with the main color. Now you're going to be working with your alternate color. And working in reverse order, you're going to start with an inside stitch to the front. So, you know, as you do each stitch, you can cross through it or check it off. But just remember that you're working in reverse order. So we're going to start from the end of, you know, how the instructions are written in this pattern. We're going to start with that last stitch because we're working in reverse order. And that's an inside stitch to the front. So at the beginning of a row, that inside stitch to the front is simply 4 chains or 3 chains if you prefer. I prefer, like I said, I prefer those 4 chains. And that is your inside stitch to the front. That, you know, just the plain old 4 chains. And then you go to your next stitch, which is 9 double crochets to the front. So that's 1. And you're just going to do all these double crochets to the front. That's 2. And that's 3. And that's 4. Always remember that chain 1 after every double crochet. And that's 5. And that's 6. Oops, and that's 7. And you're just crocheting into the double crochet that's, you know, below you. You know, it's kind of hard to see with that red. You know, the work of your main color is above there, so it's a little hard to see. But it's, you know, just double crocheting right into the double crochet that's below you. You just have to know whether you're going, you know, to the front or to the back. Let me see, that's 1. Well, you know, that's your inside stitch. That's your inside stitch to the front. and then our double crochets to the front. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're going to do one more. That's 9. And then we finish off this row 3 with an inside stitch to the front. And we're just going to do that inside stitch right into this loop. Now at the end of row 3, first of all, this is row 3, you see what it looks like. And then you're going to turn your work. And now for row 4, we're going to be working with our main color. And the front of our work is facing us. The instructions tell us that. And the alternate color is to the back, which means that this this white thread, or the beginning of this work, when I do get ready to work with my alternate color, I'm going to be beginning with this. Make sure that that's toward the back. Keep that toward the back and not toward the front. And we're going to begin with, we're going in reverse order. So we're going to start with that. Over here on the right, we're going to start with that side stitch. And as we already know, at the beginning of a row, a side stitch is just going to be 4 chains. And that's your side stitch. And then you're going to have a double crochet to the back. Now we're going to crochet into this next, we're going to do a double crochet into this next double crochet, but this is a double crochet towards the back. So we're going to come between these two alternate color double crochets. But we're going to do this double crochet towards the back. So we're coming from the back and do that double crochet. And as you do each stitch, you can just put a line through it or check it. Make sure you keep up and don't get confused. It's not hard. It's easy to do it without checking it off. Don't get confused. It's not hard. It's easy to do it without checking it off with this pattern, because there are only a few stitches per row. But when you're doing things like the Native American Afghan, where there are 105 or 106, 107 stitches per row, this is what I do. It helps me, because if I don't, it's going to get all confusing and I'm not going to remember where I'm at. So I just did that chain after that double crochet, and then next is a double crochet to the front. Chain 1, so I'm gonna cross that out. Then next I have 6 double crochets to the back. So that's 1, then I'll chain 1, and then that's my next double crochet. It's toward the back. There's 2. And when I look, in the back, I'm going to crochet right into that next double crochet. And I'm doing it towards the back. That's 3. And this is my 4th one. A double crochet to the back. And chain 1. And then another double crochet to the back, and chain 1, and then one more double crochet to the back, and chain 1, So that's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 double crochets to the back. So I can go ahead and cross that off. And next is a double crochet to the front. Do a chain. And then check that off. Next is a double crochet to the back. And next is a side stitch. So I'm just gonna, crochet into that side stitch from the of the corresponding, the same color, that red, which is, it's red for this demonstration, that main color. Crochet into that side stitch from the of the corresponding, the same color, that red, which is, it's red for this demonstration, that main color. And then I'm going to do row 5. I'm going to be working, the pattern says, I'm going to be working with the alternate color, and the front of my work is still facing me. So I know whatever I'm doing, if it's an inside stitch to the front, the back, or a side stitch at the beginning of the row, that is always going to start off with that 4 chains. So this 4 chain is, as I'm looking at my pattern, I see that it is an inside stitch to the back. So I'm going to go ahead and check that off. Then I'm going to do a double crochet to the back. Then I'm going to chain 1. Then I'm going to do a double crochet to the front. Another double crochet to the back. And of course I'm following my pattern in reverse order. I've already done that inside stitch to the back, and I just did double crochet to the back, a double crochet to the front, a double crochet to the back. Now I see I have to do another double crochet to the front, and another one to the back. I'm going to keep checking it off because I don't want to get confused. I did one to the front and I did one to the back. Now I'm going to do another one to the front. And of course I'm not just doing this random, I'm following the pattern. Next we see is a double crochet to the back. And of course we always chain 1 after it. Check that off. And then we're doing another double crochet to the front. And a double crochet to the back. And we're doing another double crochet to the front. And a double crochet to the back. Chain 1, and then I finish this row off with an inside stitch to the back. Okay, I already did that, double crochet to the back, so I'm going to check that off. Now I'm going to do an inside stitch to the back. Now if I were doing an inside stitch to the front, I would do it, right here. That would be to the front because that double crochet would end up being towards the front. But I am doing a double crochet, an inside stitch to the back. So I come from the back and do that double crochet right into that little 4 chain the side there. And this puts me at the end of row 5. And in the okay, that's what row 5 looks like. And in the instructions, it says to check your work, and this is what row 5 looks like. That's after row 5 is completed. And here is mine, you know, after row 5 is completed, which it looks just like that picture. You know, it's just that mine is red and white, and this one is green, and I'm not sure if it's beige or yellow, but it's the exact same. The only thing is, you can see that in this work of a right-handed crocheter, the yarn that they're working with is over to the left, because they crochet right to left. And for a left-handed crocheter, such as myself, my working yarn is over to the right, because we crochet left to right. And, you know, remember always to just do that chain after every double crochet, and just read in the reverse order. Just instead of, you know, when you see your, for each row, instead of going from left to right, you're just going to go from right to left. You're going to go in the opposite, you know, going to go in reverse order. And I hope this has been helpful to someone.